We welcome you to the Nissan Micra Cup Round 11 here at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. The cars are on the racetrack as they work their way around here, preparing for the start. Here we see the number 728 car of Mario Bertiome. Will start on the outside of row 7 in the 14th starting position. These cars ran here yesterday under dry conditions, got in a couple of practice sessions where the lap times were much quicker than where they qualified here this morning in the wet, when Marco Signoretti, the current points leader in the championship, tried to become the very first Ontario driver to win the Nissan Micra Cup Championship. And there you see the Nissan Leaf Nismo RC 100% electric vehicle, similar to the paint job here to what Nissan's been running in Formula E. 322 horsepower. That is produced by two 161 horsepower electric motors and produces an amazing 472 foot-pounds of torque and accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3.4 seconds as the last of the cars line up here behind the Nissan Leaf Nismo. Earlier during the lunch break, the Nissan Micra owners and Nissan Z car owners got a chance to get around this 15-turn, 2.65-mile track here at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. So it's going to be all blue and white up front as the two PayPal-sponsored drivers are going to be up on the front row. Our points leader, Marco Signoretti, along with the 58 of Taylor Neer, as these two drivers looking to finish on the podium together as they did back at the previous round at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. As the cars head on around, as we said, a pretty good crowd in spite of the inclement weather here, but things are expected to dry up and clear up for tomorrow, and we're looking for a beautiful late summer, early fall weekend here at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. That Nissan Nismo safety car should be rolling onto pit road as the field makes their way up through Namuro Corner. Some 24 Nissan Micra Cup vehicles. Safety car is on pit road now. It is up to Taylor Neer and Marco Signoretti up on that front row. Ben Cooper in car number 31. He is at the Jim Russell School here, former karting champion, qualified third fastest at 2:20. Valerie Lamaze, who was our pole sitter here at Mont Tremblant back in July. There's the drop of the green. And one of those PayPal cars, I think it was Taylor Neer, got shuffled back off the start as they worked up over Le Diable and down into the top of the S's. Here it is, Marco Signoretti going to the front, the 00 of Jake Exton in that Clarington Nissan yellow car into second. Valerie Lamaze, 2:20, running third. The conditions still very, very wet out there on the racetrack. Everybody on the deep groove Pirelli rubber as they work down up out of turn 6, headed for 7. And we're seeing some side-by-side battles into the corners. But right now, the driver's just trying to feel out the traction on the racetrack. And here comes 00. Jake Exton challenging Signoretti for the lead as they work back up around. But Marco Signoretti, the current championship points leader, he had a 58-point lead on Kevin King. Kevin King qualifying a little bit further back in 6th. He knows he's got to finish ahead of Signoretti today. Otherwise, Marco Signoretti, the rookie driver who's already wrapped up rookie honors, is going to win the championship. That battle up front really starting to heat up as the 00, the Clarington Nissan driver, Jake Exton is all over the race leader Signoretti with Valerie Lamaze, number 220, doing a great job here in third. A little bit of a gap back to 58 Taylor Neer in the fourth place position, and I believe Kevin King has worked his way up into fifth. Leaders working their way up through the kink, headed for Namaro Corner. And looks like we have gone, yes, to a full course yellow. So early in this 40-minute run, we have gone to a full course yellow. Try to get the word as to exactly where the problem is on the racetrack. But our full course yellow comes out, and there is Signoretti, 97, your race leader. The 00 of Jake Exton in second, 220. Valerie Lamaze in third, 58. Taylor Neer in the second of the PayPal-sponsored Motorsports in Action cars, running in fourth. As the safety car, that Nissan Leaf Nismo 100% electric-powered vehicle up there in the run down out of Diablo. Number 98, I believe, is your senior class leader on the racetrack at the moment. That would be the Willette, Sylvain Willette, who is in a battle with Bernier for the senior class championship. Frederic Bernier, 28. Those two drivers are going to settle it here this weekend. Sylvain Willette, number 98. Frederic Bernier, 28. The two Quebec drivers separated by just 16 points going into the championship run here this afternoon. So Signoretti still with the lead that he came in here. Motorsports in Action and PayPal had a dominant rounds 9 and 10 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park back at the end of August when he won both ends of the doubleheader. There you see the drivers weaving back and forth, trying to get as much heat into those Pirelli tires. There is the Kevin King 40. Another one of the drivers had a pretty good run. Gavin Sanders, the rookie driver, with a great run. And then the 31 of Ben Cooper, who runs the Jim Russell karting school here at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. So he certainly knows this racetrack and was one of the drivers, I think, making his very first start this year in the series. Did qualify third fastest within about a second and a half of the pole sitter Marco Signoretti. As we look at the drivers making their way down out of the S's, heading here for corner 6. A lot of Marco Signoretti fans, and again we welcome those fans on the various platforms, streaming it live here. 427, we've got some fans there of Nicholas Barrett, who qualified 15th fastest. We'll see how he fares here this afternoon. Is believe picked up a couple of positions, still under that full course yellow as they attend to the situation on the racetrack where we had the full course yellow as a result of a problem with one of the race cars out there. The Nissan Leaf Nismo continues to circulate. It has been the pace car and safety car during these full course yellows for the entire series here in 2019, including a little over a month ago at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The drivers putting in just a tremendous race weekend. Multi-driver battles all the way through. There you see the 31 car there of Ben Cooper. Unofficially, he's back in about 8th. As the field continues to wind their way around. And of course, Marco Signoretti, we watched him at the opening round at Canadian Tire Motorsport back in May. He finished second in his very first race behind the three-time Nissan Micra Cup champion, Olivier Bedard. Bedard, after the third round of the championship that was held at Calabogie, decided to focus his racing efforts on the F1600 championships, which he won. But that opened the door for some of the other drivers to move to the forefront, and certainly Marco Signoretti has done exactly that, as he has certainly been the dominant driver, gaining in skill and confidence as we've gone through the season. But there've been some other drivers who have really come to the forefront, including Valerie Lamaze in car number 220. Valerie qualified on the pole position, the first time that had ever been done by a woman in the history of the series. Had an absolutely brilliant qualifying run here back in July during the Summer Classic at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant in that number 220. Total Quartz sponsored Gregoire Nissan. Valerie Lamaze had a solid run going there before the full course yellow, and this one turning into a bit of an extended run. And there is the reason for that full course yellow. Francis Belrive, senior class and rookie driver. That car on the flatbed, they'll bring that back to the paddock area here, and I would think within a next couple of laps we should be set to go back to green. This one's scheduled for 40 minutes. These drivers will get a second qualifying session tomorrow morning, and that will set the grid. So with the Nissan Micra Cup Series, they run separate qualifying sessions for the races on Saturday and Sunday. And there is Belrive still in the car as he gets a lift back here. And like to say, Scott Maxwell tuning in live. Scott has been doing some coaching of Marco Signoretti, and no surprise with the experience and wisdom of Scott Maxwell that Signoretti has had as good first season in the Nissan Micra Cup. As we go back to green, Scott, of course, raced here many, many times at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant, so I'm sure he had a long conversation with Marco Signoretti as they go back to racing. Signoretti down into the top of the S's. Jake Exton in the 00. All over Signoretti, then 220. Valerie Lamaze in third. The 58 of Taylor Neer, the second of the PayPal Motorsport in Action cars, running in fourth. And here's a challenge by Jake Exton. They're going to go door handle to door handle, side by side, down through turn number 6, headed for 8. And Signoretti has got the inside position. He will hold on to the lead, but Exton is putting on the pressure. Jake Exton, nothing to lose here. He's going for the win. And again, he'll dive it on the inside. Still side by side. Signoretti with the big points lead coming in. He'll hold on to the lead. Valerie Lamaze looking for the opening on the inside. Taylor Neer right there in fourth. The other championship hopeful is that 40 car back in fifth. That is Kevin King as they work up the back straightaway here at Le Circuit, up over the hump as we wait for the cars to come into sight. Looking, everybody clearing, and it is still Signoretti up front. Valerie Lamaze has gone through into second as they dive in here now into that left-hand turn, and we've got a change in the lead as the 00. The 00 of Jake Exton has gone around. Valerie Lamaze into second. And so our pole sitter, race leader, and championship leader in car number 97, Marco Signoretti, has been shuffled back into that third place spot. And there's his teammate, Taylor Neer. He's right there in fourth. So Signoretti, and now a shuffle is Kevin King in the 40. 31 is Ben Cooper. He is right there. They'll go side by side. And so they play shuffle the deck up front. Marco Signoretti into third. Taylor Neer trying to hold on to that fourth place position. As a change in that fourth place spot now it is. Looks like the number 10 car, it might be Sanders, who has moved up. It is Sanders, the rookie driver, Gavin Sanders, has moved around into the fourth place spot. Taylor Neer in fifth. Then the 40 car of Kevin King runs in sixth. And behind him is 31. That is the Ben Cooper car. So this has been the case throughout 2019. All kinds of positions being swapped all over the racetrack as they work down out of six, heading up into seven, heading down to turn number 8. And up front, Jake Exton in the 00, your race leader in that Clarington Nissan car. Then the 220 of Valerie Lamaze turning in an inspired drive here in second. And there is that 10 car. This is one of the talented rookies. Gavin Sanders hasn't done all of the races, but we saw him about a month ago at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. He put in a brilliant drive as one of our top rookies in the race. Of course, that weekend was when Signoretti wrapped up the championship. Here's a side-by-side battle as Valerie Lamaze brings that Total Quartz-sponsored 220 car right up onto the rear bumper now of the 00 of Jake Exton. And keep an eye on Sanders, Gavin Sanders, in car number 10, right there and challenging the pole sitter and championship points leader 97, Signoretti for third. Rounding out the top 5 is Taylor Neer in the second of the PayPal Motorsport in Action cars. Back up in a Namaro corner. The battle up front heating up. Out of that turn 14, down through Paddock Bend, the left-hander back onto the start-finish straightaway to complete the lap. And we do not have the benefit, at least at the moment, of electronic timing and scoring. We're doing it old school here with a bit of a lap chart. But up front, it is that 00 of Jake Exton. Clarington Nissan sponsored, as many of the Nissan retailers across the country really get behind this racing program now in its 5th season. And that race up front, these front-running 5 cars have broken away. Valerie Lamaze looking to try to get around the Jake Exton 00, just couldn't get it done there coming out of the S's as they swing down through turn 6 into 7. And so it is Jake Exton in the 00, your leader, 220. Valerie Lamaze in second. Then the 97 of the pole sitter, Marco Signoretti. Then the rookie driver, number 10, Gavin Sanders in the SPI Racing Sanders Motorsport entry. And then the second of the PayPal Motorsports in Action cars, Taylor Neer, rounds out your top 5. 31, Ben Cooper, I believe, is then in 6th. 7th is 40, Kevin King, who came into the weekend second in the championship. Side-by-side battle for the lead. Here's Valerie Lamaze alongside, but diving in on the inside into the right-hander here as they come off of turn number 6. Now through the left-hander there, Valerie Lamaze was right up alongside looking for the pass up into the lead, but was turned aside by that 00 as they work back around. It's still Jake Exton. Valerie Lamaze looking for a way around. Up in a Namaro corner here at turn 14, and she'll tuck right in on the rear bumper of that Clarington Nissan 00 entry. On the inside, she'll take a look going through Paddock Bend. No room there, and as they work back up across the line, unofficially 5 laps go up on the board, and those front-running 5 cars have now broken clear from the rest of the field. Valerie Lamaze still right there, trying to find a way. A couple of times she's been right up alongside. And 97, Marco Signoretti. I'm not sure if earlier where he lost the lead, Signoretti may have missed the shift to drop them back as he tries to inch closer to this front-running pair, the 00 of Jake Exton and the 220 of Valerie Lamaze. They work back down through turn 7, headed for 8. Here on the backside of the race course, they opened up just a little bit of a gap there on Signoretti as that war up front works its way down into turn number 8. Still tightly bunched all the way through the top 10. But this is Nissan Micra Cup racing. And what a beautiful setting here at Mont Tremblant to put a cap on a great 2019 fifth year for this series that's provided some incredible racing at every one of the racetracks. And now again, here's Valerie Lamaze trying to drive around on the outside, but again, Jake Exton will protect that inside line as they work their way back up through the left-hander there, and now up over and under the bridge turn, and now it'll be through the kink, and then back up in an emerald corner they come. Valerie Lamaze takes a look again, maybe trying to go in on the outside a little bit, but it'll tuck back in right in the middle of Namero. And what was a 5-car battle up front is now become 8, as we've got the number 116 of Eric Chaput, one of our senior class rookie drivers. He has moved up there along with Ben Cooper. So we have got about 8 of these Nissan Micras up in that lead draft. The front running 5 still with a little bit of a gap back to the next 3. But very shortly now we could have 8 cars up in that lead draft and things really starting to tighten up. Gavin Sanders, this rookie driver, I think this might very well be his first trip to Mont Tremblant in that white number 10 car. He's having a great run right there in 4th, parked right on the rear bumper of Marco Signoretti as they work off a turn number 7 headed for 8. And again, Valerie Lamaze somehow trying to push that number 220 Gregoire Nissan and Total Quartz Micra around the 00 of Jake Exton, but he is making that Micra real wide going into turn number 8. Valerie Lamaze taking a little different line off of turn 8 as they begin the run up the back straightaway. They'll crest the hill there at the hump. And then down through turn number 10 they'll come. And again, watching the field come through, here they are off the end, and now they're going to go 3 wide almost. Valerie Lamaze has grabbed the lead at the end of the back straightaway. Valerie Lamaze into the gulch here at turn 11. So Valerie Lamaze has gone to the front. She made history in the Nissan Micra Cup Series back in July at the Summer Classic weekend here, where she qualified on the pole. And now trying to make history again by pulling off the win as Valerie Lamaze rolls up into Namero Corner. We are 20 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. Hit the halfway point, and Valerie Lamaze is your race leader as she comes off of turn 15 on the start-finish straightaway to put another lap in the books, and a change in third as this talented rookie Gavin Sanders has moved around Marco Signoretti to grab 4th. Remember, Signoretti knows all he has to do is finish ahead of Kevin King and the championship is his. So he may be driving a little bit of a conservative race here. He's currently sitting back in that 4th place position. Taylor Neer, his teammate in the Motorsports in Action PayPal blue and white entry, right there in 5th. And he may be providing a little bit of backdoor cover for Signoretti. There you see the driver in about 8th. That is Kevin King, was the only driver mathematically coming into Le Circuit Mont Tremblant to get around Marco Signoretti for the overall championship, trying to prevent him from becoming the first Ontario driver to win the Nissan Micra Cup. Valerie Lamaze out of turn number 8 has driven an absolutely stunning race so far. We're just past the halfway point. And again, we welcome those folks tuning in here on our live stream of the race. It looks like that light rain that we had earlier is just about subsided, and the track is starting to dry out. Here is Sanders alongside of Jake Exton, going through that right-hand turn at the end of the back straightaway out of turn 10, now through the Gulf at turn 11, and they're having an absolute war. 31, Ben Cooper, up into the 6th place position, and then it was Kevin King trying to retake that 7th place spot on the racetrack. Your leader, Valerie Lamaze, followed by the rookie Gavin Sanders in 2nd. His grandfather, who's a big fan of his racing, ran into him at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park a month ago. He was there and working the app, watching the live timing, and just a great gentleman. I'm sure he's watching the live stream here this afternoon, and the war continues for 2nd and 3rd as they work up out of the corner. It's still a great run here for rookie Ben Cooper back there in that 5th place spot, but up front it is Valerie Lamaze, who has opened up about 3-4 car lengths on 10. Gavin Sanders, the rookie, in 2nd. Then a bit of a gap back to the 00 of Jake Exton, who led pretty much the entire first half of the race. There you see the 40 of Kevin King trying to close up here on the 116 of Eric Chaput, the senior class driver. And unofficially, Chaput right now would be your front-running senior class driver in the field. That front-running pack now consisting of about 9, call it 10 cars. This has been incredible racing here in the wet. And here is the 116 of Eric Chaput. He is all over Ben Cooper for the position. Then the number 40 of Kevin King. And then looking at the battle here between the two drivers in the hunt for the senior class championship, 28, Frederic Bernier, and then the driver number 98, Sylvain Ouellette, who is just 16 points back. Side-by-side battle here between Signoretti and the 00 of Jake Exton. So again, they shuffled the deck up front as they go back and forth. Valerie Lamaze, still your leader, coming under the bridge turn there at corner 12. Heading up through the kink now for Namaro Corner, and Valerie Lamaze has stretched the lead out even a little bit more. That race for 6th and 7th is superb between Ben Cooper, 31, and the 116 of Eric Chaput. That is for 6th and 7th. Then Kevin King is in 8th. Bernier in car number 28 runs in 9th. And then it is the number 98 rounding out your top 10, Sylvain Ouellette, and 9th and 10th there. That is 1st and 2nd in terms of the overall championship. The racing here has been absolutely superb. Over Le Diable into the top of the S as they go. And the race up front as the racetrack continues to dry up, at least on the racing line. And right now, Valerie Lamaze with about a 5-6 car length lead over 10. Gavin Sanders, who's turning in a superb drive in that 2nd place spot. The 00 of Jake Exton in the Clarington Nissan entry. Then the pair of PayPal Motorsport in action drivers, 97 Marco Signoretti, the pole sitter, followed by his teammate 58 Taylor Neer. And then we've got that 31 car of Ben Cooper with 116 on his rear bumper. Eric Chaput, the senior class rookie driver, followed in there by Kevin King, and then the two senior class championship hopefuls in 28 Frederic Bernier and the number 10 of Sylvain Ouellette. Valerie Lamaze has put in an incredible drive, and now a change in that 3rd place position as Marco Signoretti has gone to 3rd, but here comes Jake Exton diving back on the inside here into the left-hander at turn number 12, through 11 up into 12, and Jake Exton and Marco Signoretti having a war for that third place position. Signoretti tried to get around, but again, Signoretti knows he's got to finish here ahead of Kevin King. That gives him the championship. Up in Enamoro corner they go. And things heating up now for third as Valerie Lamaze tries to check out on the rest of the field. The number 10 of Gavin Sanders, the young driver, putting in a brilliant run. And Signoretti wants a podium finish, trying to get around that 00 of Jake Exton. Signoretti running in fourth after leading here early. His teammate rounding out the top 5, Taylor Neer in the 58. Then 31, Ben Cooper, the rookie, in 6th. 7th is 116, Eric Chaput. 8th is Kevin King in the 40 car. And then we've got our 2 senior drivers hunting for that championship. They're a car length apart. That is a war going on right there between the 2 red cars. Frederic Bernier, 28, the 98 of Sylvain Ouellette. They are back and forth coming into this 11th round, just 16 points apart. So it looks like the senior championship in the Nissan Micra Cup is going to go right down to that final race tomorrow. And if we believe the weatherman, the forecast tomorrow is calling for sunny and dry conditions here in the Laurentian Mountains. And those fall colors, here you can see some of the spectacular fall colors. They will really pop in the sunshine tomorrow. Up front, Valerie Lamaze still with about an 8-9 car length lead. Here's Signoretti, and again the number 00 of Jake Exton, and he will retake that spot going through turn number 10. Now through the gulch of turn 11, they head to the bridge turn 12, and at the end of that back straightaway, it looks as though the 00 of Jake Exton has just got a little bit more horsepower, and he's able to go by the 97 of Signoretti. The draft so critical with these race cars as they run it back up in Enamoro corner. And Valerie Lamaze ahead of the 10 of Gavin Sanders. Then the 00 of Jake Exton, 97, Signoretti in 4th. 5th is 58, Taylor Neer. 6th is 31, Ben Cooper. In the Ben Cooper Racing, he is another one of our rookie drivers. Then behind him is 116, Eric Chaput, a senior class rookie driver. 40, Kevin King in 8th. And then the war going on for the championship between 28, Frederic Bernier, the Hi-Fi Racing entry, and number 98, Sylvain Ouellette, the automobile Sylvain Ouellette entry back there in 10th overall. So right now, things have really stretched out up front. But it looks as though with about 10 minutes to go, Gavin Sanders trying to make a concerted effort to run down that number 220 car of Valerie Lamaze. And again, we've got the 00 of Jake Exton through turn 8 here. Try to hold off the pair of PayPals. And there's Taylor Neer. He swings wide out of turn 8. And right there was Eric Chaput, who has moved ahead of 31, Ben Young. So they shuffle the order there inside of the top 10. Waiting for that run up the back straightaway. Heading into turn 10 here. And again, it is Valerie Lamaze. Here is Signoretti. But again, Jake Exton just much quicker through turn number 10. Signoretti hasn't quite figured out that right-hander at the end of the long back straightaway here at Le Circuit. For a moment there, it looked as though Eric Chaput, 116, was going to get around Taylor Neer. Wasn't able to get it done. As the laps wind down here, we've got somewhere in the vicinity of about 6 minutes to go as they work back up in Enamoro corner. The racing, as it has been from that opening weekend at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in this series, has been absolutely superb. These 109 horsepower Nissan Micra race cars doing an incredible job of providing some of the closest, most competitive racing you'll see anywhere in North America. As the season looks ahead to 2020, that's going to mark the 6th season for this championship. 3 of the weekends in Quebec, 3 in Ontario, with a total of 6 races, and we've never had an Ontario champion. And if he can hang on to that 4th place spot here, Marco Signoretti, the rookie driver coming out of 12 years of karting, and he has been the discovery here in 2019. We saw it at that first race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where he stood on the podium, finishing second to 3-time champion Olivier Bedard, and of course employing the services of Scotty Maxwell as his driver coach. And here's the battle, 116, yes, Eric Chaput has muscled that red and yellow car inside of 58 Taylor Neer to grab 5th. Taylor Neer, 58, down into 6th, as now the 2 PayPal cars separated by that 116 of Eric Chaput, the Chaps Racing Team entry. Meanwhile, up front, as we come up on 5 minutes to go, they work off the end of the straightaway, and that 97 car of Signoretti, all he wants to do, he wants to just stay ahead of the 40 car of Kevin King. And there are about 3 cars between Signoretti and King right now on the racetrack. As this one winds down, we'll have another 40-minute race tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern. And again, we welcome all of those folks who have just joined us here at our live stream. The racing has absolutely been superb. Marie-Eve Filion cheering on, watching here online, cheering on her favorite driver, Valerie Lamaze, who continues to run out in front. And that number 10 car of Gavin Sanders, he has also put in an absolutely brilliant run. 97, Marco Signoretti appears on his way to a championship. If he can just hang on here to that 4th place spot, he has moved back around. The 116 was right there and challenging Eric Chaput, but Signoretti in 4th, Chaput in car number 116 5th, and Taylor Neer in 6th. 7th is 31 Ben Cooper. 8th is the 40 of Kevin King. And then we've got Frederic Bernier, 28, and Sylvain Willette, number 98, continuing to go at it. Those 2 drivers, again, separated by just 16 points, going into the championship. And again, Chaput, number 116, dives in on the inside out of turn number 8. He was right there, but Signoretti will retake the position as they work up the back straightaway here over the hump at turn 9, and then they'll come rocketing into turn 10. There you see Valerie Lamaze still with the lead. We've got 5 minutes to go. 97 on the outside, but again it is 00. Jake Exton will muscle that Clarington Nissan in back into 3rd place. Signoretti has been right there, but just cannot squeeze by at the end of the straightaway. Bernier and number 98, Willette, continue to go at it for 9th and 10th. The 2 drivers headed for a showdown tomorrow for the championship. Valerie Lamaze, her lead was about 8-9 car lengths a few laps ago. We've got about 3 minutes remaining. Valerie Lamaze out of that final turn 15, out of the paddock bend as they roll up across the line. No white flag yet. Might be coming up as early as next time by, as Marco Signoretti continues to put the pressure on that 00. He wants a podium finish. If he's going to win the championship, he wants to be on the podium. And right now you can see these drivers right on the ragged edge of traction, but these Pirelli tires doing a great job here in the wet at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. Kevin King in car number 40. who had some great runs this year, but right now, where he's sitting back there in 8th, that's not going to be good enough to prevent Marco Signoretti from wrapping up the championship here on a rainy afternoon at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant. Here is Gavin Sanders, and again, side by side between those two drivers into turn 8, and again 116 Eric Chaput will dive in on the inside, and that number 10 car, Gavin Sanders, is tucked right in on the rear bumper of Valerie Lamaze as they head up the back straightaway here, up over the hump at turn 9. Now they come down into turn 10, and Valerie Lamaze continues to hold off this hard-charging rookie in that white number 10 car. They head for the Gulch through turn 11, and here's a shuffle going on for third for Taylor Neer. Got shuffled back as Ben Cooper in car number 31 moves up into 6th. So positions being swapped all over the racetrack. As we'll check the flagger stand this time by, we may see that white last lap flag coming out. Valerie Lamaze out of Namaro corner. Second place, it is the Gavin Sanders, that white number 10 car, and now they get the indication showing 1 lap to go, I believe. Not a white flag, but I think 1 minute, 1 lap to go, and we've got 2 minutes showing on the 40-minute clock. So can Valerie Lamaze hang on here to score the win after having that brilliant qualifying run back in July? Earlier this morning, she was 4th fastest in the wet qualifying, but has been just superb here this afternoon. Valerie Lamaze by just a couple of car lengths. Gavin Sanders in second. This would be his very first podium finish. We saw him turn in a solid run at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park about a month ago, finishing inside of the top 10 as a rookie driver. Is he going to go for the win, or is he going to stay right there and take a safe second? And right now, looking at how he's attacking Lamaze into turn number 8, he is going for the win. And here is 116, a great drive up side by side. Eric Chaput, the rookie driver here, number 116, Eric Chaput. He is your senior class driver, leading the senior class as they work up the back straightaway and head for turn 11 side by side for third. And again, Jake Exton will hold off the Chaput. Right now, it is Signoretti in 5th. Ben Cooper is 6th. 7th is Taylor Neer. 8th is Kevin King. As they bring it on home here, we should see the checkered flag here next time by as they run up through the kink. Valerie Lamaze with the lead up in a Namaro for hopefully the final time. On the inside, Valerie Lamaze will protect the inside. Gavin Sanders right up on the curbing, side by side here between Bernier. There's the checkered flag. History in the making at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant as Quebec's Valerie Lamaze takes the win ahead of Gavin Sanders. It looked as though 0-0. Jake Exton hung on for third. 4th will go to 116 Eric Chaput, and then finishing in 5th will be Marco Signoretti. And for Signoretti, also a record here, becoming the first Ontario driver to win the Nissan Micra Cup Championship. Of course, he wrapped up Rookie of the Year back at the end of August at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but he has turned in a calculated run here to finish in 5th and wrap up the championship. Absolutely brilliant run and great racing all the way through. Didn't quite see who got to the line there between Frederic Bernier, 28, and Sylvain Ouellette, number 98, but their battle for the senior championship is going to go right down to the wire. So Valerie Lamaze, number 220, your race winner. you're going to be hearing a lot more about this young driver, Gavin Sanders, in car number 10. Drove an absolute brilliant race to finish second, and the 00, Jake Exton, who led for much of the first half of the race, brings it home here in third. And of course, they're going to be congratulating this guy here, number 97, Marco Signoretti. He learned his craft through 12 years of karting and came in here as a rookie this year and gave all indication that he was going to be one of the drivers gunning for Rookie of the Year honors when he finished second to Olivier Bedard at that opening race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park back in May. But then when Bedard elected to focus on his F1600 championship and only ran 3 races in the season, the door was there, and the 97 PayPal Motorsport and Action driver Marco Signoretti stepped right up, and Coach Scott Maxwell, I'm sure, very proud of how his student has fared. If you had to give him a mark, it would be definitely an A+. So the cars rolling back onto pit road. We'll do it all over again tomorrow here at Le Circuit Mont Tremblant as we put a cap on what has been a thrilling 2019 Nissan Micra Cup Championship. Our congratulations to Marco Signoretti, still our senior class championship to be decided here tomorrow. We'll be streaming live just before 2 o'clock Eastern time, and looking forward to a sunny and dry and beautiful fall Sunday here in the Laurentians as we close out this 2019 season. And of course, Gavin Sanders, as we said, you're going to be hearing a lot more from this young driver. We saw him for the first time a month ago at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But Valerie Lamaze making history as she did back in July with an absolutely brilliant run as she takes the win here in round 11 of the Nissan Micra Cup Championship.